What's up, Cinemaniacs? I'm back, and who am I? I am Shane Moore, and you can find me over at facebook.com/the Cinebros. You can also find me on youtube.com/The Movie House Maniacs. But what we're doing here today is we are going to go over two different movies. That's right, I'm going to do a twofer, a quick hitting review for two different movies that I just happened to watch this weekend. And the two movies that I rented were Melissa McCarthy's Spy, and I also watched our buddy Chadwick Davis, the Sir Chadwick, the Chad. His girl, Anna Kendrick, was in Pitch Perfect 2. I will go over these two movies in a very short period of time. It's not going to be like my usual review that's somewhere between 5 and 7 minutes long. So I'm not going to go as in depth as I usually do. I'm going to try and keep it a little more straight to the point. Plus, I'll give it a rating as well. That's right. Quick hitting review times 2. So we are going to start off with the movie Spy. It was the first one I watched. I watched on Friday night, and this one's starring Melissa McCarthy. And a lot of people will think that Melissa McCarthy is kind of like the female version of Chris Farley. And what I learned from this movie is that she is more than just what Chris Farley was. And don't hate. I'm not saying Chris Farley is bad or anything like that. I love Chris Farley. I love all of his work. I'm just saying Melissa McCarthy and Chris Farley are different. Chris Farley was very into pratfalls and a lot of slapstick for Chris Farley. And he was a genius at that. Melissa McCarthy, she does do that a little bit, but it's not really her that does all of that slapstick stuff. And I learned that from watching this movie. She doesn't actually do a lot of those funny falls and things like the Kevin James does or Chris Farley did. Chris Farley did it a lot better than Kevin James ever has. But you know what I'm saying. So Melissa McCarthy, she's very good in these roles, and I loved her in the movie Heat, and I loved her even more in the movie Spy, because there was a point in this movie where she flipped. She turned into a different person. And when she did that, she became hilarious. The back and forth she had between this Swiss guy, how much she verbally beat down this character was absolutely comedy gold. I loved it so much. Another really funny character in this movie was Jason Statham's character, Ford. Talk about a total surprise. And as his character went on throughout the film, he actually got funnier. But there's this one line in this movie where he goes, "This arm was ripped off completely and reattached by this arm." I just couldn't stop laughing at that actual moment. I ended up watching it again for the second time last night. Granted, I didn't watch the whole thing. I kind of watched it in bits and pieces, but this movie is so funny. Well worth the rental. And actually, it's probably worth a Blu-ray purchase. And Jason Statham's character throughout this movie, kind of poking fun at himself and all those other movies that he does, was so incredibly well done. Paul Feig, phenomenal job. This is actually making me really look forward to your Ghostbusters movie. I am not one of those haters that's just trolling you left and right. I give Spy an 8 out of 10. Yes, I rated it that high. It is my surprise comedy of the year so far. I thought it was going to be good, but I did not think it was going to be this good. All right, so we're going to go on to the next movie, and the next movie is Pitch Perfect 2, starring Anna Kendrick. In this movie, the Bellas are back again, showing you more than ever before. Literally. For you that have seen this movie, you understand what I'm talking about. That Fat Amy must like going commando. Now with this movie, Pitch Perfect 1 was such a great surprise hit. And I think because of that, Pitch Perfect 2 did so well. Now, all the girls are back. They did add one, and her name is Haley Steinfeld. I'm sure you all know who she is. In the movie, she goes by Emily or Legacy. And she was fine in the movie. She was great. But as a whole, the group together, the Bellas, they did not have the same chemistry that they did in Pitch Perfect 1. The music in this is actually probably a little bit better than the first one, which is good because that's kind of what you're going for when you see this movie. You want some really cool, fun music. In this movie, it was done just a little bit better than I think the first one. The cameos in this movie are better than the first one because you get Snoop Dogg, you got Keegan-Michael Key, David Cross. David Cross is a character that I usually do not like in movies. There's just something about him, like in those Alvin and the Chipmunks movies, that just, it's like nails on a chalkboard to me, and I just can't stand him. But in this movie, it works, and it worked so well. I actually loved his character in this movie. And for my boy who loves the Green Bay Packers, Brandon, yes, Clay Matthews was in this as well, and he did a pretty darn good job. He actually didn't have a long enough cameo. I was hoping that they would continue on a little bit further than they did, but whatever. He was funny while he was there. The one thing from all of these cameos is I want that Snoop Dogg Christmas album. And yes, I know I'm throwing out a lot of love and all that kind of stuff, but like I said, the chemistry just wasn't as good. The music might have been a little bit better. The story was a little blander, but overall, the movie was still very good. And I would give Pitch Perfect 2 a 6.5 out of 10. So that's my quick hitting twofer for today. I'm going to start doing these a little bit more often. So if you hit that subscriber button, you'll see over the course of time, now that these movies are starting to come out on DVD. So if you haven't had the chance to watch it in the theater, but are thinking about renting or purchasing it, I'll help you out with that decision. So I hope you enjoyed these reviews. I hope you had the chance to hit that subscriber button. You can also find us at facebook.com/thecinebros and of course, youtube.com/themoviehousemaniacs. And I hope you had a good time at the movies this weekend and definitely go out and purchase Spy. See you soon. Peace.